So, thank you for joining my session. I'm Karsten Thoms. I'm a passionate software developer working for itemis, which is a software consultancy company here in Germany. And I would like to talk with you about ChatGPT. First of all, I would like to know who has used ChatGPT already. That's interesting. I expected exactly that. We're talking about a service which is around there for not even a year. ChatGPT was released end of November last year. And usually I see technologies come and go, and I'm not so interested. But here in December somewhere, I recognized a disturbance in the force. No? So something has happened. Everyone was talking about ChatGPT, and I immediately needed to know what is this. And and ChatGPT was growing so fast. Actually, it was the fastest growing service until that time. It took ChatGPT only 2 months to reach 100 million users. That's quite a bummer. Until that time, actually, Threads has even pulverized this. It just took 5 days to get 100 million users, but could be because it's from Meta, which has massive user base. So I asked myself, what is ChatGPT? What do I need to do to use that? I looked at it, logged in, created an account, and played a bit around. And I was so impressed what I got. Until then, AI was for me, it's not so interesting. There's no business need for it. So there are use cases where we have some chatbots which behave somehow more or less good. And you can edit some images with AI or recognize items on pictures. Yeah, okay, so not impressive. But what is so there, this totally blew me away. So when I started playing around, I did just try out what it does with text and so. And for example, I asked my daughter, "What's your favorite cuddle toy?" And she said, "Okay, that's Quali. It's a jellyfish. And what adventures should Quali have? And who do we meet?" And ChatGPT generated me good night stories, and I told her every day a different adventure, and she was just astonished. Then I went to my neighbor, who is a lawyer, and said, "Okay, I have to show you something really, really cool." And I said, "Please ask me a legal question." Could be everything. And he started to talk about swarms of bees. What happens if some swarm decides to move somewhere else to a different swarm? Who is owning that swarm? And we entered exactly that question. And ChatGPT argued, this swarm is now owned by both owners, to the degree of the size of the swarms. And this was according to the bee law, paragraph something in Germany. Sounds really nice, but he said, okay, the fact is true, but there does not exist a bee law in Germany. So it was totally nonsense there. So I recognize, okay, ChatGPT lies in your face, but it does this in a very, very convincing way. And you have to really know that it's lying. And then we talked with them, and no, that's not really correct. That's not in that law. And then ChatGPT said, okay, oh yes, excuse me, and write this and that. And then it wrote again something, and it was not really correct. And we corrected them and said, okay, I apologize to do something like that. And yeah, this was the effect that I recognized. And this is something that we have to learn how to deal with that. Yeah, but I was kind of yeah, unsatisfied with that. Also, in the first days, it was always that the service crashed already, always, and was not really yeah, reliable. And yeah, also I recognize that you have yeah, restriction in the size of text that you can paste, and that you cannot really create a context. And this is actually what I would need in software development, to say, okay, here, that's my project. Here's large portions of code, and they have interactions with that. And yeah, and of course, it would be better if ChatGPT knows about all the relationships with the classes in the project. You can use it for smaller things, but there, really, it's really useful. Then in February, ChatGPT was releasing the Plus subscription, and yeah, I said, okay, that's so useful, I will pay for it. And yeah, then you got the new GPT-4 engine also with it, and the service was reliable. And yeah, since then, I am using ChatGPT, yeah, all the time. No? So I'm comparing this to as my co-pilot, and I'm steadily talking with him and saying, okay, I need to do this and that, and ChatGPT is proposing me something. Oh, sorry, I was wrong. So we have to learn now how to effectively work with that, and there's actually a new profession arising since then, which is called prompt engineering. So people start learning how to write effective prompts, how to get the right result as fast as possible. And this is what we have to learn. There's a small rule of thumb. It's called create, and yeah, you can imagine. So first of all, you have to say, okay, what's my context and what I'm talking about? Like, I want to write, and I want to file a new issue for something which has this content. I give you an example how the issue is written in other examples, so that I have the same tone. I'm explaining, yeah, who should read this. Is this more for a junior, more for a senior? Is it for a UX designer? And what kind of output do I want to have? For example, if I want to have Markdown, then it's not that good if it writes the Markdown as text formatted for me. I want to copy this usually, and then I say, okay, please write this unformatted, and then it makes a big, large block, which I just say, okay, copy the code. No? And then you also can say, okay, please do not use bullet points or whatever, some restrictions. So, no? And that's a basic principle to write prompts, and then interact with that. So read what you get. Derive what you really need. Tell the engine, yeah, please leave that out, add this, and then over the time you generate better and better output. Some practical thing. I'm not sure if you have the same problem. ChatGPT is a browser application, so usually my browser tabs are exploding, and yeah, it's quite cumbersome to find the right window and go back there, and therefore, yeah, I just integrated that into Rambox. That's a multi-client where I integrate also Slack and X. Okay, well, it's called X nowadays, and whatever, and also ChatGPT. So I just switch back to that application and have ChatGPT write on one click. That's not the only possibility that you have. There are also plugins available for IDEs. So they're not really that useful because they can only raise standard questions. So For example, here one for VS Code. You select text in the editor, and then you can say, okay, please explain me what this code is doing. Or write me a test for it, or find issues in that code. But it's always the same question, and it's not very precise. So usually I tend to copy-paste to ChatGPT itself and write more specific questions. Could be that this becomes more useful over the time. And now, coming to software development. I want to explore what can I do with ChatGPT as a software developer. And I asked ChatGPT, what could you potentially help with? And that's actually one thing that it helps me. It provides me suggestions what it can do. So I just asked ChatGPT, for software developers, please provide me 10, 15, 20 examples of where you can help. And I would like to know from you, how do you use it already? I've prepared there small poll, and therefore you would need your phones, and would like to ask you to scan this QR code, and this is a live poll, and it's exactly those bullet points what we see here, and I would like to see what are you using it already for? And after this, I would like to talk about separate things, separate points for myself. So everyone has scanned, so let's see the result. So not using at all. Okay. So to see what is the most prominent thing. Okay. Prototyping and some do not use it at all. Okay. And documentation. Yeah, this is actually matching also my experience. So for me, it's these large language models. Oh, sorry. Forget about the synchronization. So prototyping is quite in top. Idea generation, yes. Documentation. So where it becomes to languages, texts, there can help. Large language models are good in writing texts. And actually, this is one of the things that I also used it for. Prototyping, that's also something, scaffolding code, and so that's where it can really help. So let's go back. Where's the mouse here? But actually, the first thing that I thought about and trying out was translate code. I tried it out. Just here, I have Java code. Please rewrite this in Python and in TypeScript, and so. And this was working like a charm. But actually, I did not find a real use case for it. That's not what I really need. It could be interesting if you have a whole project that you say, okay, this year needs to go to Rust or whatever. Do the same. Please do it and refactor this everything. But that's not how ChatGPT is working. You can just take file by file, and therefore it's just useless. Idea generation was also one of the top things that you are using it for. That's actually where I use it for. I write concepts or things, and then I say, okay, let's please provide me 10 examples for this and that. Or I need a good name for which describes this and this and this. No? And then it provides me several examples, and usually one is fitting. No? And where do I have to, what do I have to consider when I do this and that? So this is really useful for that. Prototyping is one of the most important things for me. So scaffolding things for a project, like setting me up CI builds on GitLab, on GitHub, on TeamCity, whatever, and just say, okay, here's my project layout. It is a Maven project, and I want this and that, and I need a CI pipeline for it, and it prints that out. And I would like to create a Spring project, and it should add some services, and I just say this, and then it will produce it for me. I would like to give you a small demo of something really cool, what ChatGPT can do. Hopefully it's working. So let's go to Rambox. Wake me up. No. Fortunately, I don't have synchronization on. So, okay. What you can do is nowadays to send also images and say, okay, analyze this image and do something. Here's an example of a class diagram that I wrote. I actually drawed it, and let's tell him analyze the image and generate JPA classes. It's even not in the right direction. So let's see what it's getting it. And it's actually analyzing my writing and produces me the code of that. And you can do the same by saying, okay, here is a website. Make a screenshot, provide me a skeleton for view. And then it will analyze, okay, here you have a top bar, and there's some section which displays tasks or so, and it will find this out and provides you already more or less working example. No? More or less is always the case. No? So the AI can be horribly wrong. No? And it's really important to understand also when it is wrong, what is wrong. No? So it's not useful if you don't know the target. No? I used it, for example, to scaffold an iOS application. I've never written an iOS application. I said, okay, I need one which has several views, and on the first view I need some buttons, and when I press one button I want to go to the next page, and it guided me really through this. But something was not working, and I had no chance to say, okay, what really is wrong here? No? I just didn't understand the target. I need to learn it. No? But then it's helpful. Okay, so quite impressive what it can do. So you could just use any screenshot and drawings, and so like mock-ups, and just put it here to ChatGPT and let it produce something. Another favorite of mine is writing scripts. I usually have to write scripts for CI pipelines or to create some tools. And you can write very fast working scripts with ChatGPT. Also here, I want to make an example. Let me see. So I just expressing something. The context is I'm setting up GitLab projects, and whenever I set new projects, I want to have the same labels, project labels that I can assign to issues with certain colors, and so I want to have some configuration. If I do this by hand with the GitLab UI, then it's it will look always different because I choose different colors, and it's quite a lot of things to do. And therefore, I just asked now ChatGPT to say, okay, let's create a script which interacts with the GitLab REST API and create projects labels from a YAML file and use shell commands to parse the YAML files, add arguments to the shell scripts of like a clean option to clean all the existing labels, like a verbose option to print more output, and do some error handling if I'm not authorized or it's forbidden to call the API, and yeah, that's just what I'm telling them here. I have no clue if it will work, but let's find out. So let's break this down step by step, and it will produce me a YAML configuration, and then it interacts with curl, with the GitLab API, and passes the uses arguments handling. So I said, okay, just provide me an example with 15 common project labels and colors that are matching, which to the what they're expressing. Not sure if it will actually write now 15. The last time it was just providing 2 as an example, and then said, okay, please ask me again about more. Yeah, okay, so here now here come 3. I could raise the question with the next time, no? And so I could use this configuration, and then it will provide me a shell script. Properly writes me functions to provide me the help of the shell script with the parameters that I have to pass. And I could never be so productive on my own. Michael?
How much or how many iterations and how much time did it typically take you to come up with this prompt? Because I would guess that you don't write that long prompt with all these details in the first attempt.
Yeah. So yes. So this prompt that I have created now was the result of several iterations. I had the script already, and I said, okay, let's look at the script. What does it do? It took me about 2 hours to come to a state where it was working. No? Because you always have to try out, and it may use commands that are not available. Could be the case. No? And you say, okay, no, read array is not available on macOS because it's only available from Bash 4. And then you have to tell them, then it will say, okay, yeah, please apologize, I'm trying something different. No? And then you say, okay, let's try it out. It may not be able to parse the YAML file. Then you say, okay, that's not working, it did not parse that. And it says, okay, let's try something different. No? And, but I myself could never be so productive here on my own and write such a script. No? So let me check the clock. Yeah, I actually can't really test it. Roughly, we have the help. It uses the JQ command, which has to be installed, and it will write this also. Yeah, please make sure that it's there, which is used for parsing the YAML. Here's the argument handling. So you can have different shortcuts and verbose options, and it's shifting all the arguments there. Also something that you might not write just out of the hand. No? Some error handling here, and it will then actually eventually then read those labels, call the API with curl, and it will be created. Where's the mouse? Here. And for me, most importantly also is documentation, technical writing. This is where I'm really not good at. No? So finding the right style to write concise documentation. For example, like scaffolding readmes. So I say, okay, here, please create me a README, and there was some context before. There's a longer conversation about creating an API for Notion. Notion is a service in the internet that we use, and it already knew about that. No? And so that we use the Open API generator and an Open API specification. And I just say, okay, here, I want to have a README mentioning that, and it uses Java 11 or above and certain license, and then it will write me introduction, which explains what the project is about, the features that it has, how to clone the source code, how to use the code itself, and all the other stuff, contribution guides. Links, license, and so on. No? And this is also quite helpful. No? Sometimes I use it also for testing, to write tests. So I say, okay, here, that's my code. I need to test for it, and it will create automatically JUnit tests for it. Depending on the nature of the method, it may even write parameterized unit tests, which is quite cool. Yeah?
My code is wrong. Is testing what? The tester should pass. Is always pass.
Yeah, it's just take it as a scaffold. No? No? So it analyzes your code and says, okay, you could test it like that. No? If the code is wrong, then you have to adjust the test. No? Or that. So you can also just describe, okay, I need a method which would do this and that. Please write me a test. So test first, and then you implement it. Also useful is for finding bugs. So if you need to understand a certain problem, and you just paste the stack trace and the code which is around, and it will then check what is going on there, and just makes proposals. No? So how to deal with that? If it's really the right answer, you have to understand it. That's your part. Now a bit of a problem. The projects that I usually work on is closed source, and we have NDAs with our customers. And here you have to be careful, because you must not expose anything which is for customers related, which is closed source, to this service, because the service is not private, and it will take your information to learn. So it's somehow integrated then in its own knowledge base. And therefore, you never want to expose that information. So what I then usually do is abstract things. No? So I'm slightly handling different, but not taking the exact code, no? And not the names that I would use. No? And then it's okay. No? You're on the safe side when you develop open source. No? So everything which is available, open, you can just copy, paste, and use that. No? And partially true, what is about contributing this code again? That's a very difficult question. No? So from where does the engine derive what it prints? It used all the source code that it was trained with, and this was also code which is without any license, maybe from Stack Overflow, or it uses the code bases which are GPL protected, and it will produce something new. Actually, it's not really clear at the moment. That's a gray zone. Is it legally allowed to use the generated code, which might be similar to code which is protected? No? Yeah, this will be a thing that the lawyers have to clear.
So you have the inverse problem. You teach your people source code, the ChatGPT learns something,
Yeah.
and use this knowledge or make it similar. Someone uses for proprietary code, copying proprietary code, and now you have to distinguish who is the source, because it's similar but different. You understand that you start to have also that some open source could become difficult to demonstrate that is really open source.
I'm not sure if I completely got it.
It can take open source, learn from open source.
It can learn from open source, yes.
Someone uses ChatGPT for proprietary code with
Yeah.
license. And now, at one point, there is a tool that do comparison of the code, extracted to understand. And now, because it's happened to me, that is your code looks like I have a different license.
Yeah.
The source that you and
Who was first?
Yeah, who was first? Yes. It's hard to tell. No? And also, it is about what did you actually contribute here? No? So if you just copy paste the code here, then yeah, you did not contribute anything on your by producing this code. But you could argue, yeah, but I've created the prompt that led to this production. So this will be a longer story, and the Eclipse Foundation is currently dealing with that, and they told the lawyers to explore if it's allowed to use generated code and contribute this to Eclipse again. For now, the answer is no. You must not do this. No? But we can expect that this might change.
Maybe one day we can write in the open license, we create a new kind of license that forbids to use this code to be fed and used to train ChatGPT, to protect the open source. Because the risk is that they use the know-how open source to create a proprietary tool.
Yes, we use open source to create proprietary tools.
As a training set.
As a training set, okay.
And so one day say that I think that an extended GPL or extended Eclipse, they say that this code is on open source, but you cannot use it to train.
Yes, that's really problematic. No? So how could you prevent that certain code, which you don't want to be part of the training of the AI, that it's not in there? Actually, it's not. With ChatGPT, it's not possible. So they trained with everything that they found and made this big model, and so that it's in there. No? So for me, as a conclusion, is we have to learn to work with these tools. No? If we don't use it, others will use it, and they will be more productive with that. And so people who don't use AI, they will have, they are not so competitive like others that learn how to use those tools. And it's not only ChatGPT. Since ChatGPT, every week 2, 3, 4 tools come out which use AI for something. No? So we have to learn when to use it, how to use it, and then we will become more and more productive. And so for me, it's clear this year has changed my life. No? I've never experienced some technology which changed my way of working like this. So, thank you. So don't forget to provide some feedback. I would be happy about that. Maybe we have time for last questions. Someone?
So my question is, you said that I can't use copied code, generated code, and copy it directly into Eclipse foundation stuff, for example.
Yes.
However, what happens if I generate code, but I just use it as an inspiration, write something very similar that I wrote, but it was inspired by generated code?
That's actually okay. So then you contributed some intellectual thinking into it. So you modified it yourself, and then it's actually okay.
Even if it's small modifications?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just trying.
I can't really tell now. So the border is unclear here.
Yeah, because it's how do you know how large, if your modifications were enough or not? This is my issue.
So at the moment you should avoid it just because the foundation is not there that it says okay, it's basically okay. But of course, if you work on Eclipse code and you want to do something, then of course you can use ChatGPT as an inspiration, and say, okay, yeah, that's more or less like I want to have it, but you modify it on your own and prove it on your own. It's important. Adapt it to the style that you want to have, and yeah, then it's of course allowed. There in the back, or that way.
Right, thank you. So what if we would just consider the prompt that you created, like the script generating one? You said it took like 2 hours to build. What if we would consider that one as the source code? So we check in the prompt, we put the prompt under a copyright license, like the EPL, and we create a Cradle or Maven plugin that calls ChatGPT, or maybe runs it locally. So ChatGPT is actually the compiler. And the same as we write code in Java today, and like a long time ago, we looked at C code, for example, and we were amazed how it generated assembly code. And we well, look at that, the CT code actually creates the same assembly that we created by hand. So that then eventually, basically, the ChatGPT prompt becomes the programming language, the higher level programming language.
This won't be possible. Yes, you're right. The intellectual property is then in the prompt, but ChatGPT will always generate something different, and very likely something which won't work.
Yeah, so that was actually the next question. You already answered it. So how reproducible are the answers? But
not at all. Okay, you can instruct it more and more that the chance that it's guided in the right direction is the right one. What I also sometimes do is to say, okay, you produced this, I modified that, that's my state, and from now on I want to modify this and that by you.
All right, thank you.
Okay, sorry for every other question we have to clear outside. Thank you.